43 minutes southwest of Pittsburgh is a lesser-known gravel biking area which sits between Hillman State Park and the Whiskey Rebellion routes. Just like the rest of Pittsburgh's hinterlands, you will find a patchwork of gravel and lightly traveled pavement. Using a classic adventure mapping software by National Geographic, I began piecing together the area's most prominent gravel roads, creating a 56-mile roller coaster of a route crisscrossing the Pennsylvania-West Virginia border. The route climbs almost 6,000 feet through the heavily dissected Allegheny Plateau and follows the same paths Native Americans and early European settlers followed westward, high on the ridges and low in the wide valleys. The route starts here at Cross Creek Park in West Middletown. Cross Creek's gravel goodness is relatively forgotten about. Some decent gravel segments along this route only have a handful of cyclists enjoying them. After this, you just might rethink Hillman State Park as Pittsburgh's go-to gravel destination. After leaving the park, we immediately enter the ridgetop community of West Middletown, which was the middle pit stop for horse and buggy travelers of the late 1700s, a day's ride from Washington, Pennsylvania, and the Ohio River crossing at Wellsburg, West Virginia. The early roads of the time followed old Native American trails along the ridges to avoid the wet valley bottoms and ambushes. There were 5 inns, blacksmith shops, harness makers, and other businesses that supported the trades passing through the town. The Ralston grain thrasher was invented and manufactured here, which prompted Henry Ford to visit West Middletown to buy one of the last remaining ones. Now head down this partially closed road and down the hill to Avella. As part of the Western Frontier, Avella hosted American frontier men, grist mills, and refuge forts built by settlers for protection against Native American attacks as the area lacked formal state protection due to the undefined borders between Pennsylvania and Virginia. The town's transformation into a coal mining hub began in the early 1900s after the completion of the Wabash Railroad. This is what remains of the Wabash Railroad's connection into downtown Pittsburgh. Coal was king in Avella, but it left scars on the land and blood in the streets. One crazy story is that on April 22, 1910, drunk Slavic miners crucified their mine boss named George Rabish, who was accused of spying on the men for their breachment of company roles. They drug him out of his house twice and attacked him. On the second time, they used spikes and rope and left him hanging for 2 hours before he was rescued, but later succumbed to his injuries. While traversing this route, there is a spider web of high-tension power lines that loom overhead and gas lines underneath. From multiple viewpoints, you'll see the Cardinal plant in Ohio billowing smoke and steam. AI data centers are placing a strain on the grid, and reliable electricity is being summoned from this region again, this time in the form of natural gas to power them. Billions are being spent to convert the decommissioned coal-fired power plants to natural gas for AI, and our electric bills are still on the rise. This road has a legendary name, Shades of Death Road. As you can imagine, ghost stories and folklore abound on this gravel back road. Zipping down State Line Road towards the West Virginia border, you'll pass the Birch Creek Farmery, to the right on an adjacent hilltop sits an old relic from the 60s. This AT&T Long Lines tower was part of a cross-country network of microwave towers that transmitted phone calls, military comms, and television broadcasts line of sight using horn antennas. The relays became obsolete in the 80s and 90s when fiber optic technology emerged. This tower connected Wheeling to Aliquippa. All the pavement up until now will be worth it for this next gravel road in West Virginia along Amspoker Ridge. This is one of the best gravel roads that can be found around here. It has more of a feeling of riding through Kansas than West Virginia. The Amspoker family called this ridge home since the 1700s. It is said that Zelma Amspoker attempted to do everything in her power to preserve the land of her forefathers' homestead, but eventually lost to the coal companies who stripped the land. The area was stripped in the 1950s before any reclamation laws were established, and stripped again in 2008 and slightly put back together to normal. After exiting the strip mine, you traverse down into the valley and end up at the map dot of Scott Run. At the bottom here in Scott Run, in 1795, John Decker was traveling from West Liberty to Weirton when he stopped to get a drink from a spring across from the Wiggins property. Native Americans from the Mingo tribe shot and scalped Decker. Hearing the shots, Tom Wiggins and others chased the Native Americans as far as Harmon Creek. Decker was buried here in Scott Run, close by to where he died. His death is notable because Decker was the last man in Brooke County, West Virginia to be killed by Native Americans. Fast forward 127 years, on July 17, 1922, a deadly battle took place on the other side of Cross Creek between striking miners and mine guards at the Cliftonville, West Virginia coal mine. Tensions escalated when the mine employed non-union workers. Approximately 300 to 500 armed men marched down the Wabash Railroad from Avella to the mine, where they burned the tipple, killed the sheriff, and killed 8 others. After this dirt road, you'll head past the pivotal archaeological site, the Meadowcroft Rock Shelter, which is a 1973 discovery that pushed back estimates of human habitation in this part of North America by thousands of years. The rock shelter was a major stopover for hunter-gatherers who sheltered under a massive rock overhang, leaving their presence upon the layers of soil dating back 19,000 years. On this back half of the route, you'll find the most gravel. No matter how you want to slice a route from Cross Creek, you'll find a great distance matching your needs. Across this bridge is Bethany, West Virginia. In 1840s, Bethany College was the first institution of higher education in West Virginia. This is also your last chance pit stop on this route if you need water or snacks at Chambers General Store only 1,000 feet up the road. Bethany also has the jazz station WZUM 88.1 FM transmitting above its town. This is Dog Run Road, a wilder path with multiple creek crossings and a waterfall. The forests have so much undergrowth that it limits your sightline and hinders any views of sweeping vistas when climbing. A bird's eye view of the topography does the landscape you're traveling justice. Deep under this canopy, you can feel the struggles of early settlers traversing the hundreds of similar valleys in the area. Crossing over Brush Creek again, it's hard to fathom that this whole area was going to be flooded for cooling a mine mouth power plant. Back in the 70s, there was a proposal to take 8,000 acres in this valley and build a coal plant. Backbone Road hugs the hillside, leading you closer to Buck Run Road. Buck Run Road is another state game lands road similar to Dog Run, which is generally pleasant. Once you approach the end of the road, the state and gas companies put down some super chunky gravel, making it absolutely brutal. Once you survive the chunk, you'll hit the final two gravel roads, Popular and the farm road of Possum Hollow. As we coast to the end of this gravel biking adventure, the rich history of these lands lingers in every pedal stroke. These gravel roads, etched with the stories of settlers, industry, and resilience, have guided us through a living museum of Pennsylvania's and West Virginia's past. Thank you for riding along on this journey through time and terrain, and I hope you gained a decent perspective of what this region close to Pittsburgh has to offer.